And on the line next is Secretary of State Ruth Johnson. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Chad. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I love Traverse City Pie Company, too.
Yeah, it's kind of addictive. Are you on the road today, or are you back home in Holly?
I'm back home in Holly this morning, and I'll be on the road a little bit later. It's a busy time of year for me.
Yeah, it is. Tell me about what is your message to voters as you're seeking re-election this year?
I think the message is when we get lots of things done, when the staff's doing such a great job, we'd like to continue to expand on that. So we're talking about customer service, customer protection, and integrity in our elections. For customer service, we've done many things, and we'd like to expand on some of them to make our lines shorter, faster, easier, and better for people. We have a couple pilots going. We have in 10 of our branches, our busiest branches, My Timeline, which you simply call using your phone. You can use your home phone or your cell phone. If you use your cell phone, we'll get back with you every so often and let you know how long the wait is. But let's just say the wait's an hour, and you know that because when you call in, that's what it is. Then you can run errands, stay home, or do whatever you want. And I think that makes it much more convenient for people, and we're hoping to expand that. A lot of people still don't know about ExpressSOS.com. It's a print-and-go feature that makes it so great because a lot of us will throw our paperwork we get from the Secretary of State's office when we send it out. They'll set it down and forget about it until it gets really close to their birthday and they think they have to come in. But with the print-and-go feature, you can merely print your receipt that shows that you paid for your license plate tab or your driver's license and just carry it with you. And you don't have to come into our offices if you use ExpressSOS.com with print and go. Now, on the 8th year, you do have to come in for your driver's license, but on the 4th year, you can use it too. We have a pilot with Meijer in 2 of their stores, so you can get bread, milk, fishing pole, and your tabs right there at the Meijer stores. We're hoping to expand that. And recently, we started a partnership with AAA Michigan, and they've put it in 2 of their branches, Grand Rapids and Detroit, and plan on putting that in their other 29. It's working so well. And again, you would go in, get your insurance. They paid for the computer and they paid for the printer, and you would use ExpressSOS.com with Print and Go, so you could just have one-stop shopping right at their insurance company.
Secretary Johnson, I've heard your Democratic opponent Godfrey Dillard talk about how there needs to be more offices for Secretary of State services. Is that feasible? Could you afford that to add dozens of more offices?
Yeah. On our most recent interviews with Chuck Stokes on Channel 7, he was advocating for closing offices.
Oh, okay.
So right now we went from 181 offices to 131 offices. I think we need to continue with technology and My Timeline in more of our branch offices so people don't have to wait. I think that's very important. And then we'd like to expand some of these pilots with like AAA Michigan. If there's other insurance companies that would like to do that, that would be helpful. We have a partnership with libraries across the state, so you can go into the libraries and use ExpressSOS.com with Print and Go. I think right now we need to make sure that we can shorten our lines and make it easier, faster, and better for people, and so that's what we're concentrating on.
One of your responsibilities is administering elections, and we obviously have one 2 weeks away. In several states, they have early voting where you can just walk into the clerk's office and vote right now. And we have an absentee voting system. It essentially is a form of early voting. And it seems like the numbers show that there are more and more people voting absentee. That may be because of the aging population and such. But is it time for Michigan to go to a no excuse absentee or early voting system?
I think Michigan has to continue to look at ways that we can make voting more convenient as long as we can protect the integrity and security of the ballot. I believe that with the technology that we have now and our efforts to clean up the qualified voter file, I think are key to the foundation of putting in a new system. But I do support no reason absentee as long as it has the same integrity level as people coming in to vote right at the precinct. So we have a bill that we've worked on with Livingston County State Representative Cindy Denby, and we're hoping that we can finish the little bit on the qualified voter file that we have to clean up. We did have 102.54% of the eligible electorate registered to vote in 2008, so one of the things that we've done is worked very hard to clean that up. We signed a subscription with Social Security Administration and found 50,000 dead people on our rolls. We've also signed up with a group of states called the Kansas Project and found over 130,000 people that are registered in Michigan and another state, and have found people that think they can vote in both. And obviously that is absolutely wrong, and we do turn those over to our Attorney General.
How many of those 50,000 people have voted, those dead people?
Well, actually, the Auditor General for the state of Michigan did do, they take a small group and they look at it, and they found over 1,300 dead people that had voted. Now, having said that, that was largely because of clerical errors, and we've really encouraged the clerks to use the new electronic poll books, and we've incentivized that by helping them pay for the maintenance on their machines if they use it, because you simply slide your driver's license through it or your state ID, and it gets the right person. The system before, you would use a reader just like you would go into Home Depot. You know how they use a little reader and put it on the tag, on the little hash mark? Well, what was happening is people were not quite hitting the right one. They were hitting the one above or below or getting mixed up, junior, senior.
There are multiple barcodes in the book, and they hit the wrong one.
Right. Every name has a barcode.
Yep.
And the books are big and heavy, and so we made them smaller so that it would be easier, but the smaller you make them, the easier to carry them, the more mistakes that can be made. And no matter what, no matter how big they are, it's easy to set it on the wrong one. So
is that early voting legislation something you see that could get done in the lame duck session and after the election?
I wouldn't call it early voting, even though technically for how people view it, it would be.
Okay.
Early voting, for some people, they wouldn't like it for a couple of reasons. And the main one is that over half of our clerks work out of their homes in Michigan. And the other one is in our system, which I think is so important to democracy and so important to the integrity, is that both Democrats and Republicans that feel strongly about making sure the system works properly, they don't get paid. They take a day off of work, day from their time, and they come and stand at the polls to make sure that everything is done properly. And for those people, it's not always practical to take many days off. So while people would be able to vote under the legislation that's in the House right now that Representative Demby has, and what I support very much, is that you would be able to vote up to 45 days in advance, as long as you would show your ID just like you do at the polls, or sign an affidavit of identity if you do not have don't have a state ID. Then you would be able to get your ballot to be able to vote. And I think that's an important key, is that we'd have the same level of integrity that we do now with people voting at the polls. And the sooner we can get it through, I think the better.
Okay.
However, I do have a little bit more to clean up on the qualified voter file. The federal government needs to help us with the rest of the list of non-citizens.
Thank you, Secretary Johnson. Ruth Johnson, appreciate your time today, and we've got to go.